What did you do? WTF? What did you do? How many times have you heard people say, don't judge a book by its cover? How many times have you judged a book by its cover? I know I'm guilty of it. I certainly know that saying very well, but I know that I've also broken it very often. Here's what I want you to think about for a minute. If you want to deepen your level of emotional intelligence, then you've got to be willing to accept people as more than a single event. Now here's what I mean by that. In this age that we live in now where, think about this. In 2019, Kevin Hart was supposed to host the Oscars, but because of some tweets that he did, comedic tweets, 11 years before, he got such a backlash that he ended up not doing the Oscars. Now, I'm not saying that what he said was right or wrong. That's actually not my point. My point is this. We've all been trained to not judge a book by its cover, but here's the question I want to ask you. Is it fair to judge a book by its page? I would suggest not. You see, if the book has got 300 pages and you read page 22, does that tell you what the book is about entirely? I doubt it. If you read page 122, 222, does that tell you what the book's about? No, of course it doesn't. So we're busy judging a book by its cover, but we're also busy judging a book by its page. Rather than looking at the full contents of a human being, we look at a page out of a person's life and we say, well, this is who they were. And we as liberals will often say, well, we shouldn't judge people because they committed crimes and they served their time and we need to give them a second chance. Well, what about if you make a social crime? What if you said something that was inappropriate at a time when it didn't particularly seem inappropriate, and maybe you've developed and you've grown from that? Let's take a little bit more emotional intelligence here and realize that it's time to stop judging a book by its page or a few pages out of that book, but rather be willing to look at the entire person and see who they really are. Because I don't know about you, but I'm not perfect. I don't know about you, but I've made some really big blunders and I've done some shit that I'm not proud of. And that if somebody goes back into my history and says, did you do this? The answer is yes. I did some stuff that wasn't so great that I'm not so proud of. But that's not who I am. That's simply a page in the book or a few pages in the book. So what my suggestion to you is, if you want to develop yourself as a human being and as a leader, then you need to consider this. Consider looking at people as whole rather than as pieces. Because if we look at people in pieces, we can always find fault. And here's the news. If anybody looks at you that way, they can find fault. I'm a pretty good husband, but I know I've had moments when I've been a shitty husband. I'm a pretty good dad, but I know I've been moments when I was a shitty dad. I'm a pretty good human being, but I'm certain there have been many moments when I've been less than a fabulous human being. I don't know about you, but I'm not perfect. And I'm willing to see other people in that way too. I'm not telling you this because I'm better than you. I'm telling you this because I'm just like you. I've judged people harshly and I've judged them on a single event, just think about it for a moment. Imagine somebody meets you, okay? And they meet you on a particular day when you're in a pissy mood. Is that an example of who you are? No, of course it's not an example of who you are. It's an example of who you were in that moment. If somebody meets you in a fantastic mood, you want them to think about that's who you are, but it's not. We all have those days when we feel like crap. We all have those days when we're short-tempered. We all have those days where we're moody. We all have those days where we're less than spectacular. Stop judging a book by its page, including your own. What I mean by that is, you just blew it, you just blundered. That's not who you are. That's simply a page. It might not even be a page. It might be a paragraph in who you are. Stop judging yourself by a single page or a few pages, and stop judging other people that way. Your life will get a lot richer and a lot better if you just decide to say, I wonder if that's who they really are. We are all magnificent beings who are magnificently flawed. We're all perfectly imperfect. And if you stop looking for the perfection in others, maybe you'll be a little easier on yourself. My name is Dov Barron. I'm the founder of FullMontyLeadership.com. And I'm asking you to stay curious, my friend. Stay curious about how you might have been judging books simply by a page rather than by their entirety, including your own book that is your own life. My name is Dov Barron, Full Monty Leadership. I'm out.